Hey there, Mama. I am sure you already know that good things like fitness goals, coaches, online communities, other activities can quietly become idols if we're not careful. I know for me, it's easy to chase perfection, performance, or approval and lose sight of who actually gives me peace and purpose. And while I'm currently in a calorie deficit right now to prep for my next season of competing, I've learned this. It's really not about shrinking or making myself smaller, but it's about sharpening. Today, I'm talking about faith, fuel, and the importance of stepping back when the good things try to take God's place. Maybe you find yourself needing a little encouragement today and a reminder of who actually gives you peace and purpose. If so, today's episode is going to be perfect for you. Hey there, I'm Ashley, mom of 4 and creator of RepsandRedemption. Join me as I share my passion for health education, explore all things fitness and nutrition, plus share a little faith-filled homemaking along the way. If you're a mom ready to build strength and live a life of epic redemption, this podcast is for you. Let's get after it. Hey there, and welcome back to Reps and Redemption. I'm so glad you're here. I want to thank you for kind of just hanging out, bearing with me. You know, I've only had one episode in about 4, I think maybe even 6 weeks. There was just so much going on. I knew I needed to step back a little bit. I was competing a kind of a lot, actually, and I just getting episodes together. I had some kind of in line, and I just wasn't feeling that those were the right ones to be sharing in the moment. I also really was just feeling like a break was needed, and I kind of wish I would have done some sort of announcement, but I guess this is just the recap of what's been going on lately. And this month of May has been so crazy so far. My 7-year-old turned 8, my 22-year-old will turn 23 next week, and May, I keep saying May is like so expensive, like outside of November and December, of course. And it's just like the things that they want to do. And I love that they want to actually do things. They're not really, of course, they have like little wish lists and things like that, but they're more prone to, I guess, activities and events. But those things still cost money. So I always joke like, oh my gosh, it's May. It's such an expensive month, but it's been good. And I've been prepping here and there. I know my last podcast episode was on resilience, and that was actually recorded 2 competitions before my last one. So with that, it was I guess I like to call it a legit competition, and I'm still kind of been out of shape about it. I would be lying if I didn't say that I just was not my best. I was so unbelievably nervous. It was an IBJJF competition. It was my very first, legit competition. And I lost by a lot of points. I know I didn't get submitted or anything, but I'm still like, when you think about what could have been and how you could have performed and what you're capable of, it is a little bit disappointing. So I go back to that a lot. And I am just also wanting to share with you that I don't think I've actually shared this on the show yet, that we are moving and we're getting ready for a big move. And we are moving from the North Georgia area to Savannah area, and it's about 5-hour difference. So it is a big move. It's not just like, 30 minutes or whatever in the circle that we live in the radius that we live in. So we have that coming up. And I just thought taking a bit of podcast and IG break and Instagram break to regroup was really something that I needed to do, because sometimes in busy seasons, I feel like the best thing I can do is just not push content out. But I think following God's leading and live the life that He's given me, get quiet with Him, and really just come back a little bit refreshed. So hopefully this is what that is. And I want to dive in today's episode talking about pedestals and perspective. And this episode's actually been on my heart for a little while, especially in areas of fitness and, let's say, the fitness community, anything you do for fitness. And for me, that's, I lift weights. I do a little bit of classes at my local gym, and then I train jiu-jitsu. I think I talk about that plenty. And also, I'll run outside, or go for a walk with my kids or go to the park, and I'll do pull-ups at the park, just everything like that. And I wanted to share that sometimes, there's experiences that we go through and we find that we love things so much that we expect everyone either to feel the same or maybe want the same things we do. And I think I've been learning that, I've always accepted the fact that my health journey is not going to look like yours. My health journey is not going to look like my 22-year-old's or my now 8-year-old or my mom's or my twin sisters. And it's going to be different. And I think that's a good thing. But I think when we really want to achieve something, or we really, honor our health and fitness, and we are wanting other people to agree that it's as important, or we want to maybe just share what we've been learning. And we have to understand, and I think this is kind of just what I've been learning, is that, the importance of placing anyone, like any person or anything. So coaches, mentors, online personalities, anything, even the action, even the activity of fitness on a pedestal above our faith is not what I want to promote on this show. And I also, I know I've talked about it in a few ways, but I also want us to be careful, because especially if it's people or, the activity and people, like we're putting those before, or they're trying to sneak up. Not that we're intentionally, because I don't think we intentionally try to, okay, first is this, and then God. I don't think we do that on purpose. I think it just slowly happens, and you start to say, oh my gosh, why do I feel a little bit out of alignment? Why do I feel a little bit out of whack? And I think that kind of shows you that, hey, your priorities need to be realigned. And I think that's good, because you realize going along as you're training, like for me, for example, I'm training, I'm working hard, I'm pushing really hard, and then I feel a little off, and I'm like, well, why do I feel off? And I think it's because I have so much expectation on this activity or these coaches or certain people or certain things. And I think the best comparison that I've really thought about is like, and forgive me, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I think if you've been listening to the show long enough, you totally will agree with this. But it's like, just because somebody is a doctor, right, does not mean that they're a good doctor, right? Like, there's some excellent doctors out there, but I believe they're very few and far between. So I think it's the same way in the fitness community and when it comes to coaches. And I think that it doesn't matter the platform or the expertise. It doesn't matter what rank they are. For me in jiu-jitsu, I'm learning this as I go. If it doesn't align with integrity, character, and God's word, I have to take a step back and remember who really belongs on, I don't want to say pedestal, but those are the words I'm using for the show, but who really belongs first in my life. And it's definitely not another person or an action. And if I had to refer to scripture, I would talk about in Exodus 23, it says, you shall have no other gods before me. And I think it's lowercase g. And I think that is because nobody can take the place of the one and only true God. And I'm sharing this because I think it just happens so subtly and sudden. It's like subtly, but it is sudden that you realize, like, oh my gosh, my priorities are out of whack. I really expected way more from that person or that thing, and it's ultimately let me down. Why? Why has it let me down? Why do I feel defeated or deflated? Or why do I feel like I can't believe this happened? And I think it's because we put that thing or that person in the wrong place. And it's honestly not even the thing's fault or the person's fault. It's us. And I think that's the convicting feeling about it. The conviction about it is like, oh, it was actually us that did it, because those things are going to let us down. Those things are not our ultimate purpose or our ultimate goal. They're just part of our journey. So I'll move on to talking about unplugging to reconnect. So I've really intentionally unplugged from Instagram on and off, meaning like I've unplugged for a couple of days, like from Sunday to Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe logging on once just to kind of do the post and ghost thing. It was starting to really steal some time and some of my peace, because a lot of things that come up are like hyper political, and which is fine, but then when you start to fear for your kids, I think, and their future, and it plants like all this fear within you, then it's like just not good, right? Like I can read things and move on, but when it comes to like fear stuff, I get really, and I never used to. I think it's now a mom thing for me, but also if I had to look and share with you in my past family history, rather, you know, my grandmother was very fearful toward the end of her life, and just everything. And I don't want, like, so what I'm saying is it kind of runs in my family a little bit, and I want to be very careful with that. So unplugging from social media has been really good. And I really want to, and I have been redirecting that energy to things that matter, like family, fitness, when I say fitness, like training and just being healthy, and my faith. And I've talked about it a few times very lightly, but I know that I'm supposed to get this YouTube channel going. And I'm honestly, I think I am fearful of that, because like right now I'm speaking to you into a microphone. I'm in gym clothes, sitting on the floor of my disaster of a closet, because it's been birthdays and things are still wrapped and around me, and it's just a mess. And I think the video aspect, I feel like I have to be more put together, which then that wouldn't be authentic. So I'm like battling with that a little bit. But I do love connecting with other moms and athletes. But if the app is training me more than I'm training for life, and more than I'm putting in my family or my peace or my faith and my fitness, I really have to log out and log into real life. So I've learned that, and I'm hoping that just sharing this own personal struggle will help you figure out what you need to do. And I am going back and forth with keeping social media or not. Gosh, I've gone back and forth for like over a year now. I know I've talked about it before, so I will keep you in the loop with that. But let's see what's next. I do have a little few points written down here, because otherwise I'll just start talking about a whole bunch of things, and I don't want to waste your time. So up next, nutrition, my own personal nutrition, and goals for fitness and jujitsu. So I'm currently in a cutting phase. So this was a very light start this week, because I started off really great, and then I had a couple unexpected days of being gone like almost all day. So it was not planned. I didn't have my food with me. So anyways, it was a soft start. So next week it'll really get going. But I'm cutting. I want to tell you how many calories, but at the same time, I'm a little hesitant, just because I don't want you to think that's what you need to do, because your body and your goals and what you do on a day-to-day basis is completely different from me. So I will tell you, I am cutting. I'm cutting my carbs and I'm cutting my fat, but I am getting 150 grams of protein per day. My current weight, I will tell you this, my current weight is 134 to 135 pounds. When I started jiu-jitsu, I was between 125 and 129. I was really trying to bulk, so I was trying to add more muscle. But now what I'm ultimately doing is cutting to trim a little bit of fat very carefully, not muscle. And I am going to be fueling intentionally, not obsessively, but I do want to honor my body and perform well. So obviously, if this doesn't, like after doing this for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3, I'll be journaling and thinking about it. And if I feel like blah with cutting these carbs and fat, then I'll add some back. So I won't just stay there because, you know, I look better, but I feel worse. But I don't, honestly, I did it for a couple of days before before being gone all day. And I think that I felt great. So I think it's actually going to be really great. But I want to be, you know, just this mom and wife, this strong woman and athlete. And I want to have a strategy to do that and not like starvation mode. I honestly, even if I tried, I don't think I could ever do that. So just to be clear, I'm not chasing like any sort of skinny type thing. I'm chasing strength, which is what I always focus on the show. And I want to have more focus, more endurance. And this cut is actually about precision. And I'm not like punishing myself because honestly, like eat whatever most of the time. As long as I can track my protein, I'll eat whatever. Like I have little Debbie oatmeal cookies in my pantry. And maybe I should do an episode on like the crap that I say crap on the show, the crap that I eat. Sometimes like I don't feel bad. I don't have that guilt of like, oh my gosh, I ate that brownie and now I have to go do this. And like, I just really haven't had that happen to me. I don't think ever. Now, sure, it probably would happen if I ate like a whole package of Oreos because I'd probably want to like puke, but I've never really felt that way. So, and I like to be able to fit things that I enjoy. And I do like sweets almost after every meal, starting at lunch. So after lunch and after dinner. But I can share more about like what I'm eating to stay in this deficit. I'm calling it, I don't know if any of you watch any UFC fights or anything like that, but I'm calling it my UFC cut just because I'm more biohacking my own body and just seeing how it performs, how it responds. And yeah, I just want to, update everybody on what I've been doing and encourage you that definitely fuel your body and fuel your mind with the word of the Lord. And let me close out with, what was my other note here? It just says encourage listeners. So that's what I'm going to do. I want you to think about just a few things that I mentioned, with priorities and pedestals and just your perspective. And then also with your nutrition and your own fitness goals, like who or what is on your pedestal? Is there something or someone that you need to quietly, peacefully put back in the proper place? I want to invite you to protect your peace and your home and plug into what is eternal, not just what we can see and what is visible. I definitely have to understand that I have the grace and permission to make the decisions for my family and myself. If our peace or our boundaries, anything like that is kind of rattled or it doesn't feel right or feel even safe, whether that's emotionally or whatnot, we can log out of social media. We can take breaks. We can recalibrate our routines. We can get out of toxic environments or just unhealthy places. We are allowed to do that. And maybe sometimes we think we're stuck because of the routine and we feel like we can't move forward. But I believe that's a lie because we are women of the Lord and we are adults and nobody needs to know. Like this doesn't have to be, a huge announcement, but just pivot and go in the direction that the Lord is leading you, your husband, and your family. So coming up, let's see what's ahead. The YouTube launch is in progress. I'm slowly setting up the channel. I'll get all the podcasts on there. I believe that's the next right step. I will let you know how my jujitsu cut, and I'm not just cutting for jiu-jitsu. I kind of want to see, I think I just said that, but biohacking, I want to see how my body responds to a little bit less carbs and fat and more protein and see kind of the aesthetic. I've talked a lot about aesthetics on the show. I do want to look a certain way, but it's not like the ultimate goal. I more want to have energy to be able to run with my kids and play with my kids. But ultimately, I love muscle and I love the aesthetic. So I'll keep you up to date with that. If you have any questions about your own health journey, macros, what you should be eating, or you're just curious, feel free to email me. I love this stuff. Like I will help you. Now listen, I am not a doctor. I am just a mom who loves health and fitness. I study what I can when I can. I research, I listen, I read. And if I can help you, or if you just have a question about numbers, I might ask you a couple of questions. Now listen, I'm not charging anybody to do this, but if you are curious, like where should I be at? I might say, okay, what does a day in the life for you look like? And I'll set you up. I will. And we can go from there. I think sometimes we just need someone to be in our corner a little bit and kind of give us like a starting point. So if you have any questions, please, reach out. I think the email address, I'll put it in the show notes, but it's repsandredemption@gmail.com. If you think of it, please pray for wisdom, clarity, and peace as my family transitions out of an older season and into a new season. And I'm really excited. So if you don't mind praying for us, if you think about it, please share this episode with a friend. And I am excited to join you in setting the Lord back into the center of everything and above all of it. So I'd like to leave you with this verse from 2 Corinthians 3:17. It says, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." I hope this episode has encouraged you. Don't forget to share it with a friend. I hope you all have a very blessed weekend, and I will see you back next week. If this episode inspired you, will you share with a friend? Remember, this podcast offers health education tips and holistic insights. Please consult healthcare professionals for personalized advice. Until next time, Mama, be bold and live well.